Hey team, it's Wallace. So you've made a custom rig in Maya and exported it using Maya's export selection. But when you bring it into your program, like Houdini, it seems that all of the controller shapes are still there. And when you bring it into Blender, there are a bunch of empties, which are super untidy. I'm going to show you how to export so your imports are nice and clean and you don't have any of that extra stuff clogging up your scene. Okay, so here we are in Maya. A lot of the resources online suggest exporting like this. Select the joints and then select the mesh and go File, Export Selected. Now, this doesn't seem to work in every situation because when I check this example in Houdini or in Blender, there are things that we don't really want Maya to export in the FBX file. Now, I'm sure there are things that you could do in the rigging stage to ensure that the FBX exports properly, but that's not always the case, and that's why we're here. So what we are doing here is selecting our root joint and holding right click and going and finding select hierarchy. Now this should select all of our bones. If we then shift click our mesh, file, export selection, and we're just going to pull open the settings a little so we can read them. Now we can leave most of these settings as they are, but the one we want to come down and find is under connections, and if we untick both of these checkboxes and then export our character, we will find that it hasn't exported most of the controllers, but we still have some on the hands there. When we import into Blender, there are no extra empties at first glance, but when we look in our outliner, they are still nested in the hierarchy. This export option may work for you, but I think in this particular case, the finger controllers are parented to the hand bone. So, to only get the bones out, we can actually just select the mesh and then make sure we come in and tick Input Connections and untick Include Children. Now, despite us not selecting our bones, when we import this, our bones will still be in the file. And there are no nasty empties hanging out where we don't want them. Now, a little extra thing in Blender, if you want the bones to be pointed the same way that they are in Maya, you may have to come down to your armature options on the FBX import and tick Automatic Bone Orientation. Now, this will make the bones point the right way in Blender, but may not point the right way if you were to export from Blender and bring it back into Maya. Hey, thanks for watching. This was my first tutorial. I'll be making a lot more geared towards rigging for beginners, some animation, and a lot of some problem solving stuff in Maya and Blender as well. See you next time.